52 Traders, episode 88.
Understand that price movement is a function of the liquidity that's available in the market at that given time.
Join Cam every week on the 52 Traders podcast or at 52traders.com to learn how to trade like the pros. This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not investment, trading, or financial advice of any kind.
What's up, traders? Welcome to what has to be said is going to be one of the best episodes I think I've ever done on 52 Traders. Look, this is a fantastic episode, not just the interview. The interview's great, but just what the interview signifies in terms of this whole podcast and what it's all about. Basically, I've got a guy on the show who was previously a listener to the show who's now trading profitably. So he's basically, and we've got proof of this, right? So we got proof. So he was on one of the episodes previously, episode 31 back in, I can't remember when that was. It was like almost 2015, early 2016, I think. We had a series where we had 7 traders follow Nick, the mysterious Nick, into the world of trading the 1 minute chart on Forex. And Nick like trades a couple of hours a day, 1 to 2 hours a day, and places upwards of 100 trades and just steals money out of the market on a regular basis. So these guys, 7 traders, followed him on this journey, and they did 3 weeks of training with Nick, so it was like quite intense. There was a daily webinar where they watched him, they could watch him trade live, then he gave them the tools and software that he uses to trade the markets, and the guy we got on the show today was one of those traders, and we had him on the show, and he gave us a little bit about his backstory. He seems really sort of down and out. He just wasn't, enjoying things. He'd been ripped off. Like somebody had sort of ripped, a few grand off him, and a trading mentor that had ripped him off. And anyway, he went through the Nick's program, and although we didn't see his statement at the end, he did say that, things had changed from his mentality, his mindset had changed, and the way he saw the market had changed as well, and he'd taken a lot away from this episode. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you all this is because we have him back on the show after, I suppose, just a random event. So the event being that he signed up to my Trading Mentors Match Off series as a listener. So he wanted to listen to the series. He signed up, and then he sent me an email asking a couple of questions about it. And I went back and replied. I had no idea who he was. I'd completely forgotten his email address and his name and stuff. Anyway, he eventually sort of prompted me to say, "Oh yeah, I'm Andre from the Nick series," and I'm like, "Oh, of course, yes, Andre. I do remember Andre." And so anyway, Andre, we had a bit of an email toing and froing, and he sort of, I said, "Oh, how's your trading been? What you been up to?" And he goes, "Oh, I lost my job, and trading's good, blah blah blah." And then I sort of was like, "Okay, what does good mean?" And he sort of told me good means that he basically got fired and started trading. And he thought, this is it. I've got to start trading. I've got to give it one shot. I'm 35 or whatever he is, and this is sort of his chance. He knows what he needs to do. He just needs to get in there and actually execute. And so he did it. He started trading for a living, which is pretty gutsy when you got a couple of kids and a wife and whatnot. So he started trading for his living. Now, it's the best story ever. I've got to say, it's the best story ever, and you're going to hear it in just a few minutes. So, there are a few other things I want to talk about on this episode because there are some changes happening, and this is probably the best episode to do it on because it is a pinnacle. It's somebody who's listened to the show, someone who's taken that knowledge, imparted in the show, used it, and his self-discipline and some other, I can't take the whole credit for it, but he's gone off and carried on with his education and this sort of stuff, and he now came out the back of it and he's trading profitably. And in actual fact, I asked him in the show, I don't know, I can't remember how it comes out, but I find out how much money he's actually made at the end of the show, and he doesn't tell everyone because he just told me offline, but it is quite amazing. I've got to say, it is quite amazing. And he mentions in the show he doesn't want his wife doesn't want him to share how much he actually makes. So anyway, I don't even think she knows, but it is quite phenomenal. It's a great show to listen to, but given his story, and the story will probably resonate with you guys out there who are trying to make this make money in the market regularly, and boy, does he have a great way to do it. Now, there's a few things we're going to touch on after we hear from the sponsor of this episode, who's coming up next. And look, the sponsor of this episode has made this episode completely free for you guys, okay? So you've got to really thank them, that they've come on board, they've made this episode free, and I'll tell you exactly why that is after we hear from them now. Okay, so first let's thank our sponsors, Dean and the team at Blueberry Markets, for sponsoring this podcast. Look, hey, I've been working with these guys at Blueberry for probably about 2 months now. I've been testing out their live account, and I've got to say their spreads and trade execution have been pretty much on point, absolutely fantastic. So if you're looking to open up a trading account with them, I can certainly recommend you give them a shot. And by the way, if you mention 52 Traders when you're opening up that account, so there should be somewhere on the form, or just let them know you're a 52 Trader listener, then they're going to roll out the red carpet for you to make sure you get a top-notch experience there at Blueberry Markets. They're also ASIC regulated and one of the best up-and-coming ECN brokers that I've seen. Anyway, thanks again for the support, Blueberry Markets. And guys, feel free to click on the banner on the website to open up an account. I think the minimum's only about $100. Okay guys, so that's our sponsor, and look, they have made this episode free. So what that means is that you can get the full episode, because what you're going to get today is a teaser. You're going to get a bit of a sneak peek, a preview of the full episode. To hear the full one, which is a great episode, as I've mentioned already, then you've got to jump onto 52traders.com and you'll find it there. Now, all you need to do is leave your name and email address, and you'll get access to the full interview with Andre. And there is going to be a link in the show notes as well, so the show description on your phone. So if you've got a phone that you're listening in on, then there'll be a link there that you can either copy and paste or click on or tap on to get to the show notes page where you can leave your name and email address to get the full interview. Now, there are some other changes that are happening today at 52traders.com and 52 Traders podcast as a whole, and I need to share those with you now. Now, the big changes that the logo, well, there's a few changes, they're all pretty big. The smallest change is, in fact, the fact that we got a new logo. So we've got a new logo, so check it out on the website, 52traders.com, new logo. Love to hear your feedback on social media and the like. So we'll gradually update all the logos throughout the social networks, etc. over the coming days. So there's a new logo. We've got a new look and feel of the homepage, so the homepage is completely new and looking and feeling different. The bar is gone, so where people could go and donate money to me to help keep this podcast active and alive, the bar is actually closed now, so the bar was pretty much empty by the time I finished up, decided to close it. The bar was pretty much empty. I wasn't getting a lot of patrons going through the bar, so I had two choices. I could either shut down this podcast, or I could carry on with the podcast and use a different model. So I chose the latter because I'm getting value from it. Hopefully you guys are getting value from it as well. But it does take me a lot of time, so I do need to make it more efficient, the way that I run it and the way that things run here at 52 Traders. And the way I've done that is to come up with a really unique model in this industry for podcasts as a whole, but a model which I'm pretty confident is going to work, and everyone wins. Everyone wins. You win. Everyone wins here, okay, guys? And the idea is to get us to the point where Andre is listening to the shows and then going out there and making money in the markets. Now, the model that I've chosen and the way that it's changed has a number of facets to it. There's three sort of key things to note. The first one is that it is now moving to a paid podcast model. But you can make your money back. You can actually make more money than what you would be paying for to listen to the podcast. Okay, so you can actually make the fee you pay back, and you can actually make more than that back. So I've come up with a way to do that. Okay, so all you need to do is opt in on the 52 Traders site. Just leave your name and email, and you'll see all the details on how you can do that there. Now, as I mentioned, it's a paid podcast now, so that means that to listen to the episodes, you need to pay for them, and there's two ways you can do that. The first way is you can pay to listen to one episode at a time, and that's only $2.97. $2.97. I'm sure you've either got $2.97 sitting on your desk that's been sitting there for months and months doing nothing, or you've got $2.97 sitting in your couch chairs under the cushions, sitting there doing nothing, invest it, put it to use, get that $2.97, chuck it in your bank, then sign up and buy one of the episodes. So you can buy any episode, you can buy bunches of episodes if you want. You can go on there, it's called the starter package. You can buy episodes and listen to the episode. Okay, that's education in your eardrums, in your mind. It changes the way that you will approach the markets. So that's one way you can do it. The other is the best deal ever. Okay, so this is an amazing deal. This is way better than buying per episode. If you want to buy an episode, great, go for it. But I think this is the best deal. The best deal is it's cheaper than a coffee where I live. It's probably cheaper than a coffee where most of you live, but it's cheap as chips, right? It's really cheap. I've tried to keep the price as low as possible, and what you get with it is you get all the episodes, excluding the series. So like Trading Mentors Match Off is still a series. You've got to pay separately for that, but you get all the other interviews that I've run on 52 Traders. Okay, so all the other interviews I've run. And you also get access to all the show notes. You get access to the marked up charts. You get access to the strategies, the videos the guys have left, all those cool things that can help you with your trading. You get access to those, and you also get to listen to the podcasts in your phone as per normal, or wherever you listen to them. There's no restrictions, okay? So you can use your podcast apps. That all works normally. We've tested it out with Trading Mentors Match Off. It works. So you can have a feed there. It's called the Pro Feed. It's 52 traders. You get a unique feed to of your own that you can use to get it as per normal. So no change in your user experience with the podcast. The only thing is you're paying a small fee. As I mentioned, less than a coffee. So it's $4.97 per month. Gets you access to pretty much everything. Okay, pretty much everything. So all you need to do is jump onto 52traders.com and you'll see options there to come on board as a pro member or come on board as a starter member and get access to those interviews online. This one today, however, is completely free. All you need to do is opt in on 52 Traders to hear the full interview, but we're going to hear the sneak peek in a second. Andre does leave us his marked up strategy. He does leave us a video on the show notes as well. To get hold of those, you do need to join up as a pro member, but you're going to hear the full interview on the site anyway. And do remember, you can make your money back and even make more money, make that wallet fat by coming on board as a subscriber or a starter member or a pro member. It doesn't matter. Okay, guys. Right, until next week. Actually, I'll have a chat to you after the show, but there is something happening next week as well, which is pretty major. So stay tuned for that as well, and that will be on these teaser episodes here that come out on a weekly basis. So stay subscribed to these guys because you don't want to miss them as well. Right, so without further ado, let's get on with the show today. Thanks to our sponsors, Blueberry Markets. Righty-ho, guys. So this is a different episode than normal. We've got one of the ex-students from one of the competitions we did earlier on where people had a chance to learn from the mysterious trader Nick, who had a 87% accurate system that traded the currencies, and he did rapid trading himself and placed like hundreds of trades in a day and did really, really well. Now, Andre is who we've got back on the show. Andre Stewart was one of the students who went through the program, and he's now back on the show, not because he went through the program, but we'll touch on the program anyway. But he's back on the show because he's actually sort of turned his trading around and has gone from where we first tracked him back in, I think it was about a year or so ago. He's turned his trading around, and he's now actually trading profitably on a consistent basis and has been doing so for quite a few months. So I thought it was worthwhile getting Andre back on the show to see what he's doing, how he's doing it, and talk a little bit about his journey and get sort of into the detail and run through a typical 52 Traders show as well. So we'll ask all those delving questions that will give you guys an idea of what exactly Andre's doing. And I suppose because Andre's just, the regular man on the street trader out there who seems to be doing something right, then what we'll do is in the show notes, I'll give you a chance to put your questions to him in the comments below in the show notes. So if you do have questions after the show, then that's where you need to go. So, Andre, welcome to 52 Traders. How are things over there in Sacramento, California?
It's hot, but it's amazing.
It is hot. It does sound very hot over there. Well, I had somebody from work had just got back from New York. They were there the last week or two, and you guys having a massive heat wave over there.
Oh yeah, it's pretty gross. But I mean, I'd rather be hot than cold any day, though.
Cool. Well, look, let's kick off things with a bit of I suppose if anyone wants to listen, there's an episode which I'll hook up in the show notes that where Andre actually does talk in amongst a whole bunch of other traders, so you can get a sort of background story where he got scammed and all this sort of stuff, and was really struggling to make it work. And I suppose, where did you end up after Nick's program? How did you find it, first of all, and where did you end up? We caught up with you 3 weeks after, but we didn't catch up with anyone after that. So how did you end up after that last show? Where did things go?
So cool. After Nick's show, I just want to say thanks to Nick too for everything. He was an amazing trader and an even more amazing person. So Nick really showed me something that was possible, right? For someone who also seemed like your average everyday guy, to really just like take the markets by the horn and kick butt every single day. And like I was telling my wife, like I cannot unsee what I saw coming from, Ocean Sky and the other trading academy I told you about before we started.
All right, folks, hope you enjoyed that sneak peek of Andre's full interview. Now, to get the full interview, which goes for about 38 minutes, then all you need to do is jump onto 52traders.com and put your email address in. This one's free because the Blueberry Markets have sponsored it. So, guys, it's free to get access to. Jump onto 52traders.com, leave your name, email address, and you'll get access to this full interview for free. There's options there to get on the pro membership for future interviews which are coming up, and you'll also get access to his marked up chart and the YouTube video that he talks about in the show if you come on board as a pro member today. There's 11 free interviews on the site at the moment, guys. So there's this one and some others that I've made available for free. So if you do want to hear those, you can get access to those as well. More interviews coming up in the future. So stay tuned. Until next time, catch you later.